There's a storm hitting the auto industry, and it started with one massive announcement from Toyota. For years, electric vehicles carried a daunting price tag, leaving most everyday drivers out of the conversation. Now, out of nowhere, Toyota has unleashed a shockingly affordable electric sport utility vehicle that's forcing every automaker, Tesla included, to scramble for survival. The question is no longer, should you switch to an EV? It's, why stick with gas at all now that EVs might be cheaper? Automakers have braced for change before, but nothing like this. Toyota's bold move feels like a finishing blow to old-school car manufacturing. In an instant, the playing field has tilted, leaving the future of gasoline cars, used car dealerships, and even oil companies teetering on the edge. Is this the tipping point that transforms electric vehicles into the obvious choice? Or is a hidden complication set to derail this revolution? It wasn't long ago that major automakers insisted electric cars must cost a fortune. They blamed rare metals, expensive battery technology, and small-scale production lines. Buyers accepted those explanations for years, until Toyota tore that narrative apart overnight. According to fresh rumors and accusations surfaced among industry insiders, Toyota deliberately partnered with GAC, a Chinese automotive giant well known for ultra-efficient mass production, to produce an electric SUV that's more affordable than many gas-powered cars. The alleged strategy? Squeeze suppliers, standardize components, and harness GAC's low-cost labor and optimized factories so Toyota can undercut everyone else on price. But that's only half the story. Despite Toyota's trademark of being conservative and methodical, they're apparently willing to sell this vehicle at a loss. Why? Because once Toyota establishes itself as the go-to name for cheap, reliable EVs, other companies might struggle to keep pace. Big leaps in technology often come with big risks, but Toyota's gamble could pay off massively if they can pull it off without collapsing under their own ambitions. And once you hear how they reduced battery costs, you'll see why every other automaker is panicking. Lithium-ion batteries have long been the gold standard of electric vehicles, but they come with a steep price. They rely on rare and expensive metals like cobalt and nickel, driving up production costs. Toyota, however, decided to gamble on lithium iron phosphate, LFP batteries. On paper, LFP batteries are simpler. They remove the need for nickel and cobalt altogether, drastically cutting expenses. They're also known to be less prone to overheating, a point that soothes safety concerns for new buyers. Early EVs often struggled with battery fires or range limitations, but with LFP, Toyota aims to sidestep both issues by offering stable chemistry and respectable mileage. Behind the scenes, whispers suggest Toyota locked down supply deals for these LFP cells years ago, far ahead of public announcements. By quietly securing these partnerships, Toyota was able to roll out an LFP-based SUV at a time when no other legacy automaker was ready to go fully mainstream with it. That move blindsided Tesla, Ford, Volkswagen, and others who are still reliant on pricier battery formulas. As a result, Toyota has done the unthinkable. They've proven that if you rework battery sourcing, streamline your factories, and form strategic alliances, you can bring down EV prices to levels once thought impossible. And that puts serious heat on the biggest name in the industry, Tesla. Tesla has enjoyed a near monopoly on high-end electric vehicles for over a decade. The Model 3 and Model Y became symbols of tech-savvy innovation, capturing those willing to pay a premium for cutting-edge performance. But Toyota's new offering, rumored to be far cheaper than any Tesla in its class, poses a gigantic threat. Picture Tesla's predicament. They can't just instantly pivot to super low pricing on their current models. If they do, profit margins collapse, possibly undercutting the funds they rely on for rapid expansions, new factories, or advanced R&D. On the other hand, if they keep prices high, they risk looking out of touch, especially if Toyota's brand new electric SUV can handle daily commutes, seat families comfortably, and offer the futuristic tech consumers crave, all for a fraction of Tesla's sticker price. Elon Musk himself has hinted at adopting LFP batteries in certain Tesla models, especially for entry-level trims in regions like China. But can Tesla pivot quickly enough? They've spent years building an image as a premium brand. Abandoning that premium stance to chase Toyota on price might alienate loyal fans. Yet ignoring Toyota's assault could surrender massive segments of the market. It's a complicated puzzle, brand value versus raw affordability. And Tesla is not the only automaker feeling the heat. The rest of the industry is in a scramble too. Toyota's move has far-reaching consequences. Ford, Volkswagen, General Motors each poured billions into developing their own electric lineups. They assumed the main competitor was Tesla, known for high-performance EVs at premium price points. Nobody fully prepared for Toyota, an old guard automaker, to sideswipe them by focusing on cost-cutting and mass-market appeal. And then there's BYD, Build Your Dreams, the Chinese electric juggernaut that built its reputation on offering EVs more cheaply than Tesla. Now Toyota's new approach threatens to overshadow even BYD. While BYD's cars remain budget-friendly, Toyota's global brand recognition and manufacturing prowess may give it an even bigger advantage in marketing and distribution. Rumors abound that Ford and Volkswagen may begin slashing EV prices to avoid losing market share. Insiders worry these price drops might lead to rushed cost cuts in design and materials, potentially compromising quality. After all, can these companies truly match Toyota's efficiency without rethinking their entire supply chain? This chain reaction is forcing everyone to reevaluate their strategies. Suddenly, it's not enough to tout flashy features or big horsepower if your pricing is out of touch, and all this chaos signals an even darker future for one once dominant player: the gasoline engine. If electric SUVs start undercutting gasoline vehicles on price, what else keeps people loyal to gas? Reliability once favored traditional engines, but EVs with simpler motors often prove just as dependable. Fuel efficiency used to be a concern, but EVs simply don't need daily fill-ups. And now, thanks to Toyota, cost of entry is no longer an obstacle. That spells trouble for big oil companies, gas stations, and the massive network built around servicing internal combustion engines. Entire supply chains might be upended faster than expected. Mechanics specialized in combustion engines could see a steep decline in business. Gas station chains are already looking into installing chargers, but will that be enough to stop hemorrhaging demand for gasoline? Even governments are facing a dilemma. Many nations set timelines for phasing out gas engines, anticipating EV affordability to come much later. But if Toyota's new model accelerates the shift, policies and infrastructure might lag behind the rapid adoption. In other words, the EV takeover that was supposed to happen gradually over a decade could crash onto the scene in just a few years. But there's one glaring problem that could jam the brakes on all of this. Are we actually ready to charge millions of new EVs? The greatest unspoken challenge in EV adoption isn't just the cost of the car, it's whether people can conveniently charge it. Toyota's revolutionary pricing strategy will only boost demand, flooding streets and highways with electric cars. But is the charging network truly prepared for a surge of that magnitude? Major metropolitan hubs have been ramping up public chargers, but that's a drop in the bucket when you imagine the entire fleet shifting from gas to electric. Rural areas, suburbs, and small towns lag behind. Home charging is an option for many, but far from universal, especially in apartments and city centers. Toyota has taken a more open approach by partnering with established charging providers to create broad compatibility and open networks. Contrast this with Tesla's model of a proprietary charging system that catered primarily to Tesla owners. Toyota aims for the opposite, all-inclusive networks that might one day accommodate any EV brand. It sounds great in theory, but building that level of infrastructure is a massive, time-consuming effort. Without enough chargers, or fast enough chargers, the wave of new EV owners could face a nightmare of long lines, broken stations, and range anxiety. In the face of that frustration, some consumers might cling to gas-powered cars longer. Still, the potential market is colossal, and Toyota's rumored next move is to tackle the Western markets, which come with their own bureaucratic minefields. Even though Toyota's groundbreaking electric SUV has debuted overseas, it won't necessarily land in American or European showrooms tomorrow. Stringent crash tests, import tariffs, and political agendas can inflate the price, undermining Toyota's main advantage. Consider the United States. Safety regulations demand robust crash testing, unique airbag configurations, and sometimes heavier structural reinforcement than some international models. Tariffs on Chinese-built vehicles can also pile on costs, meaning Toyota might need local production. Building or retooling factories, however, requires huge capital and time. Then there's Europe, famous for strict emission standards. Ironically, while Toyota's EV obviously produces zero tailpipe emissions, the EU often has detailed requirements about battery materials materials, recycling programs, and local content rules. If Toyota can't comply cheaply, they might have to manufacture on European soil, again, driving up the initial investment. Meanwhile, buyers in the US and Europe expect certain creature comforts. Longer range, advanced driver assistance packages, and plush interiors often become deciding factors. Toyota's success overseas might need a Western makeover. If they can balance these adjustments while keeping the final price shockingly low, they could dominate. If not, they risk letting other automakers catch up. But while potential US and European buyers wait eagerly, there's another impending disaster for anyone trying to sell a gas car: the used car market meltdown. Imagine walking onto a used car lot and seeing prices for older gasoline vehicles that rival or even exceed the cost of Toyota's brand new electric SUV. Suddenly, that dusty sedan with 70,000 miles and uncertain maintenance history looks painfully outdated. Used car dealerships thrive by offering budget-conscious buyers cheaper alternatives. But if Toyota's EV is cheaper up front, plus cheaper to refuel and maintain, where does that leave the used lot? The market could be flooded with gasoline cars nobody wants, forcing dealers to slash prices. Profits plummet, and the business model of flipping used vehicles might become less viable in record time. Rental car companies also rely on bulk buying and eventual resale. They typically churn their fleets every few years, reselling hundreds of vehicles at once. If a brand new EV is affordable enough, prospective buyers might scoff at pre-owned gas cars. With demand dropping, rental companies could face ballooning losses on their existing fleets. Private sellers face a smaller but still significant dilemma. If you're trying to offload your old gasoline car and your prospective buyer points out they can get a fresh from the factory EV with better tech and zero gas station stops for roughly the same price, how do you close that deal? It's a brutal scenario, and it underlines the speed of this shift. Automotive transformations typically take decades, but this one might slam into top gear within just a few years, leaving behind an entire generation of vehicles. In one swift stroke, Toyota has managed to do what seemed impossible: make electric vehicles cheaper than many gas-powered models. This isn't just a price cut, it's a tectonic shift that could reorder the entire automotive ecosystem. Other manufacturers are compelled to cut prices drastically or watch their customer base evaporate. Gas stations and oil suppliers might see the demand for gasoline evaporate at an unprecedented pace. Even Tesla, which once defined the EV market, is forced into a corner. Yet major questions loom. Is the world ready for so many EVs so soon? Will fragile charging infrastructures buckle under the strain? Can traditional automakers pivot fast enough, or will they crumble under competition they never saw coming? Governments might scramble to revise policies, incentivize EV infrastructure, and brace for job market upheavals in legacy industries. All the while, Toyota appears confident, betting that selling at slim margins or even a loss now will lock in millions of loyal customers. That loyalty is priceless when software services, subscription-based features, and future upgrades become a central revenue stream. So where does this leave you? Perhaps on the brink of the biggest automotive revolution in over a century. If Toyota's gamble works, the once distant dream of an affordable, reliable electric car for the masses will be our new reality, and it might happen a lot faster than we imagined. But if infrastructure fails or competitors manage a cunning comeback, we could see chaos instead of a smooth transition. One thing's for sure, this isn't just another shift in car design. It's a radical upheaval that reaches from battery mines to city power grids, from corporate boardrooms to used car lots. So is the world truly prepared for Toyota's master plan to dethrone the old ways? Or will this avalanche of change catch everyone off guard, leading to a tumultuous new era of winners and losers? Let's talk. Are you ready to ditch the pump forever, or do you see hidden hurdles that could trip up Toyota and the entire EV movement? The conversation is only beginning, and the fallout from this price war might shape our roads, our jobs, and our daily lives more than any of us realize. Thanks for watching, and brace yourself, because the price cuts, battery breakthroughs, and industry-shaking announcements are far from over.